Hey guys, I'm Minnaar from Blog, and today we're looking at the Samsung Series 5 Ultrabook. Now first off, you might ask, what is an Ultrabook? The Ultrabook standard was something that Intel defined as an answer to the MacBook Air, which was increasing in popularity, and the PC market that also wanted to kind of compete in that market. It basically defines a maximum weight, size, and also processor standard that the PC manufacturers need to comply with. But here we have one from Samsung that actually bends the rules just a little bit compared to the other Ultrabooks out there. The Samsung Series 5 Ultrabook is something that comes out in a gunmetal grey color that looks pretty good. It's pretty solid. It's not made from a single piece of steel like some of its competitors, but it does feel very solid. There's almost no flex or creak in the case. And when you open and close the device, there's actually quite a nice thunk to it. On the inside, you'll find a Core i5 processor and also something that's unique to an Ultrabook machine, a hard disk drive. Now, you might argue that actually slows down the machine quite a bit, but Samsung is actually quite smart about it. The typical Ultrabook standard normally focuses on solid-state storage, which is great, but typically that requires a machine that only has 64 gigabytes of storage, or 128 or 256 gigabytes, which is not a lot if you have, say, a lot of music or a lot of movies. So what makes the Samsung Series 5 unique is that it has the solid-state storage, which is small, only 24 gigabytes, but then has a 500 gigabyte hard drive, which is made for your movie collection or your music. So often accessed files get placed on the 24 gigabyte solid-state disk, whereas your music or your movies or things that take up a lot of space is left on the hard disk drive. So booting up something like Windows only takes a few seconds, whereas accessing your music storage doesn't really need all that speed, if you're honest about it. The other unique aspect of the Samsung Series 5 Ultrabook is that it actually ships with a touchscreen. But on a laptop, if you touch the screen, the whole screen moves around every time, and you very quickly actually get tired of the screen shaking around just from the slightest finger's touch. The other aspect that we don't like about the touchscreen is that, frankly, you need to clean it a lot. If you're someone that's finicky about a dirty screen, this is not the machine for you. It does, however, ship with a Gorilla Glass display, so it doesn't really get scratches all that quickly. That doesn't, however, fix the fingerprint problem. The screen is also not great. It's a 1366 pixel wide screen, which actually gives a good compromise between desktop space and sharpness, but the viewing angles aren't great. The other unique aspect of this machine compared to other Ultrabooks is that it is quite upgradable. So you can flip this little panel open on the back and you can swap out the hard disk drive or the memory with standard off-the-shelf parts. It's things like this that makes the machine quite unique compared to something like the MacBook Air, which, frankly, if you buy it in the store, there's not a lot you can do with it. You can't upgrade the RAM, and you also cannot upgrade the solid-state storage inside unless you know someone that can get you those specialist parts. Otherwise, in terms of specs, the machine never actually felt slow. That Core i5 processor and the initial 4 gigs of RAM is actually enough for most people out there. And because it is upgradable, you do actually get a good few years out of this machine. One of the things we do like about the machine is the battery life. We easily got 6 hours out of this machine, even though it does have a spinning hard drive in there. And we really didn't expect that. The other thing we're not crazy about is the price. At 12,000 Rand, it actually competes quite well with something like the MacBook Air. But if you actually go look at the pricing overseas, it comes in at $900 in the US. That makes us think that Samsung was actually quite smart about the pricing in other countries, but not so much in South Africa. Overall, Blog gives this machine 7 out of 10. If it wasn't for the high price, we would have easily given it a much higher rating. It's a good machine, it's got good hardware, and the upgradability factor is something that we do like a lot. For our full review, head on over to bandwidthblog.com.